Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video here on Balls Life 99 Rebuilds. And yes, as you guys can see by the title, this is episode 2 of the podcast. So yes guys, episode 2 has arrived, and this will be ranking, as you guys can see by the title here, ranking what I think is the top 10 NBA players in the league currently. Alright, so basically I'm going to be ranking these players from, not in tiers or anything, just strictly top 10. So I think that this is definitely a topic I've wanted to cover for a bit. So, I am happy I got the chance to. So, yeah. Alright. I'm going to just get right into it, and I'm going to start off. This is not going to be off the 2019-2020 season. So, if you guys would like to see one where I do it just off that season, please make sure to let me know. Because, like, one player in specific wouldn't be on this list. So, I'm going to get right into it here, guys. And, let me know what you guys think, if you agree or disagree, if there's anyone I missed or should not be on this list. Please make sure to let me know in your opinion. And, but first on the list, guys, I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, Giannis Antetokounmpo is taking the league by storm in the past, say, 4 seasons. He was always a solid player on the Milwaukee Bucks. I believe he was selected 15 in 2013 in the NBA draft. Picked 15th. I think that that's basically what he was picked. But Giannis is a great player, very versatile. I think that no one can really get to the hoop like Giannis Antetokounmpo does. I think that he's that good of a player where he's able to get to the basket and also shoot when he needs to. Not the greatest shooter, but I don't think he needs that. I've heard, when will he develop a shot? I don't think he needs to. Kind of like Ben Simmons. I really do not think Ben Simmons needs a shot. But, that's just kind of what I think on this topic. But also, guys, Giannis was always a solid role player, like I was mentioning earlier on. But, now, he's kind of just, he really turned into a star when he was selected first. And he was always great, but, selected, number one, or not number one, selected in the 2017 All-Star game, the 2016-17 season as a starter. This is really when he took the league by storm and led the Bucks to a, I believe, 6th seed playoff spot, only to lose in 6 to the Toronto Raptors that year, but he was still really, really good. And that was just kind of the beginning of when Giannis started this run. Giannis became just an incredible player, taking his game to a whole new level. I think just after developing, after a few years in the league, kind of like Pascal Siakam's kind of done. I will say now he's not on the list. But that's just kind of what I have to say about Giannis. Then he won the MVP last year. If I have to choose an MVP this year, it's going to be Giannis again. I think he's led, since it's a regular season MVP, obviously. He led his team to the best record in the league. And just by far, almost, Giannis Antetokounmpo, I would say, is the best player in the NBA. Number 2 is going to be Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is a different type of NBA player. He led a team after being traded there in the Toronto Raptors to the NBA Finals in one season, something that they couldn't do after being eliminated in the second round by Cleveland, swept 2 years in a row in 2017 and 2018. So that's just kind of what I have to say about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard was in a bad situation in San Antonio, to be honest, but then not terrible. But the point is, he wanted out and was traded. Once he was traded, it proves that he is tremendous. And if he, in the 17-18 season, if he played that year with the Spurs, I think that they could have probably made a deep playoff run, despite Houston and Golden State's success. But anyway, he ended up getting traded to Toronto and is a all-NBA type player, a great defender. He can probably, I would say, the best defensive player in the league between Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert and Patrick Beverly, Marcus Smart, those type of guys. But basically, Kawhi Leonard does what he needs to do, and that's win. Kawhi Leonard makes his team better. Obviously, all these players probably make the team better, but Kawhi Leonard is basically the equivalent of a perfect player that fits on any single team, honestly. I mean, despite going down in certain series like Philly and stuff, he just clutches up and does what he needs to do to get his team to win, which is why I think he's number 2. Great defender. I don't think he can stop Giannis. I don't think anyone really can, but he can definitely contain Giannis Antetokounmpo, to what needs to be for the team to win, basically. And that's kind of why I think he's number 2. Not a ton to say about Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, we know he's tremendous at what he does. So, yeah. Number 3 is honestly, guys, this is who I think is the greatest player of all time. You guys can probably tell it's LeBron James. LeBron James is the definition of clutch. And honestly, I think he's the GOAT. I think that he's not the best player in the world right now. The greatest basketball player in the world. But he's tremendous at his age, 33, I believe. I think that he doesn't age. He kind of said once, like fine wine. I'm like fine wine. I get greater with age. And yeah, I think it's true. LeBron James is great. He gets a lot of hate from the media. But honestly, great guy on and off the court. He is just amazing at what he does. Whenever his team is in, a series where they're down, kind of like to the Celtics 3-2 in 2018, he's like, yeah, we're winning this series. LeBron James couldn't quite get it done in Cleveland. He went to LA, and his great play just from adding a star leads them to the second best record in the league in Anthony Davis. I think that, I know they didn't make the playoffs last year, the Lakers, but he got hurt, so I think that if LeBron never got hurt, they would have had a chance. I think that you can add LeBron to the worst team in the league, and that team becomes a contender almost. I think we could have even talked about the Lakers being a contender last season, even though they didn't make it. They didn't do well. I definitely do believe that LeBron is the greatest player of all time, just for leading teams to the finals, like the 2015 when they literally took a game off the Warriors without Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving. I think that he does so well in any situation. You never really hear him complain about the situation he's in, because he knows, he kind of goes into activates beast mode, and that's just kind of how he runs. He wins games with, if he could be the best player in the lineup by a huge stretch, the team might not have any other stars, kind of like the 2018 Game 7, I believe it was Game 7. The starting lineup in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics was, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, because I know Love and Isaiah Thomas was gone, Derrick Rose was gone. I think it was literally LeBron, Jeff Green, Tristan Thompson, it might have been, or Larry Nance Jr., George Hill, and was it Kyle Korver? I'm trying to think if it was Kyle Korver. I'm not sure if it was him though. But I can't think if it was Chetty Osman, Kyle Korver, but he makes his teams better by far. But yeah, next is the player who's hurt, who, if this was just based off this season, obviously would not be on this list, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, honestly, I think could be the best scorer in the league, rather. I think that the way he scores the ball from the mid-range and the three-point line and drives to the hoop is, probably the best in the league, to be honest, at what he does. At his size, he's able to do so much, that he can do. He's a great player, and he could be considered the best player in the league when healthy. I personally do think that's Giannis. This list is based on what's healthy, but definitely a top 5 player in the league when healthy. Kevin Durant is the equivalent of amazing. Nothing short of it. There's not much to say about Kevin Durant, honestly. I think that he is kind of self-explanatory, to be honest, kind of like Kawhi Leonard was. But I do have him at 4 because we don't know how he's going to return from his injury, and this list is prior to his injury, obviously. But I think that next season he's going to be about 4. We never know if anyone's going to be hurt going into next season. DeMarcus Cousins got hurt in the offseason, so you never know what's going to happen there. But I do personally think that Kevin Durant is great at what he does. So, for 5. This one is probably going to be the most controversial pick on this list. It's Luka Doncic, guys. Luka Doncic, in his second NBA season, has become an all-star starter. His second season. And I don't really think it's all the Kristaps Porzingis addition, but because of his high level of play in his second year, he has brought the Dallas Mavericks to, if the season ended today, to a playoff spot. After being in the lottery the previous year, 2017 to 18, and 2 years later, a playoff spot that I think could win in round 1 in that matchup, just because of his high level of play. Luka Doncic passes the ball great, shoots the ball great, drives to the hole great, gets his teammates involved. I think he makes his teammates better. I do have him ahead of Steph Curry. I think he's a better defender and honestly a better player. I think that Luka Doncic is a better overall basketball player than Steph Curry. I think he can play the 1, 2, the 3. I think that Luka Doncic is a top 5 NBA player. And this is not off the season. I think that if you want to consider this going into next season, this is my list. I do believe Luka Doncic is a NBA top 5 player. I think everyone can agree he's definitely top 10, but yes, I do think he is top 5. So yeah, 6 kind of leads to the next player. It's Steph Curry. Another guy we don't really need to talk about too much. Amazing shooting. Missed a lot of the 2019-20 season. But honestly, I think the best shooter of all time. I do think that he and Clay are literally equal when it comes to shooting, but I do think that he is the best shooter of all time, personally. The way he gets to his spot, heat check, doesn't need to be a spot up shooter. He gets the ball and he drains it almost every time. He does have his off games. Everyone does, to be honest, though, I would say. Steph Curry, great. That is what I have to say about that. Next on this list is James Harden. And this could be a little low for the MVP 2 years ago. But I think that if James Harden was a better defender, he'd be higher on this list. Same with Steph Curry. But, hey, it is what it is. James Harden is a top player in this league. Honestly, right now, I would say the best scorer. I mean, he gets to the line, I think, like anybody else. And that the refs could play a part in that. But I do think that James Harden is good at. That's where I have James Harden, personally. But that's just me. So, after James Harden, we have the man with the ball right now, Damian Lillard, at number 8. Damian Lillard, a player who makes it. If the Blazers did not have Damian Lillard, I think they'd be at the bottom of the league, personally. Damian Lillard is great. I think this season, strictly is the best point guard in the league. Not by far. I mean, if you want to consider Luka a point guard, I'd probably say Luka over Dame. But, Luka, since he can kind of play any position from the 1 to the 3, I think that Lillard is the best. I think he's definitely stepped up his shooting, really stepped up his shooting game. A player who was not selected to be in an all-star game in the 2016-17 season. I forget if he was in 15-16 he was not. 16-17 I don't think he was either, personally. But Damian Lillard does not, I don't think, care about where he is on All-NBA, wherever it might be. Damian Lillard is tremendous. The man who just took that 3, Kyrie, I think Lillard's a better player than Kyrie. I think that Damian Lillard is the second best point guard in the league when healthy, if we're going to consider Luka a shooting guard, right behind Steph Curry. I think Dame is in the same conversation as far as point guards go as Stephen Curry. I do really do believe that is how good this man is. I think that I've said that a lot, I think that, but I do apologize. Damian Lillard is great at basketball. He's great at what he does. He gets his teammates involved. He is the definition of clutch, too. I think he's the clutchest player in the league, personally. So Dame Dalla is at number 8. Number 9 is the man who probably had, one of the most eventful offseasons. That's going to be Anthony Davis. The Lakers, who were, I believe, like a 9 or 10 seed going into the playoffs. Or, at the end of the season, regular season last year. So now the number 1 seed by adding this guy. He makes his teams better. We've seen what he does in New Orleans. Number 1 seed in the Western Conference, that is. We have seen what he does on the court. We've always got a glimpse of that in New Orleans. But now we kind of see how he plays with that true star, obviously, superstar in LeBron James, mega star. And now we do see how Anthony Davis performs on a team with a superstar that the Pelicans really hasn't had besides Anthony Davis, who's I believe is a superstar, and pretty well. Dame performs pretty well. Why do I keep saying Dame? Davis performs really, really well. I think he is a top defensive player in the league candidate, an all-NBA type player for sure. He can make all-NBA first team, honestly. Probably will make it this year. All-star starter. Great defender. He can shoot the ball. He's a great offensive player. Honestly, I want to consider him a great two-way player at the 4 spot. And the last player on this list, Joel Embiid. I do believe Joel Embiid is the only real center on this list, I would say. I think he's the best center in the league. I think his defense, his offense, the way he can kind of shoot the ball, he can sometimes be efficient from 3, is why he's on this list. I think that he is perfect for Philadelphia. Built through the draft. I think that Joel Embiid, who started playing basketball at a really older age before he got in the league, of course, like 16 or 17 was not old. It might have been 13, but it's not necessarily old. But definitely, when he started playing basketball, it's incredible the way he's progressed in the league. Damian Lillard, just burying that there. But yeah, he is a great athlete. One of the best athletic players, most athletic players in the league. I think that he's honestly, all NBA teams or, stuff like that can be like, maybe we'll have 2 guards there, or like 3 guards there. Maybe you'll have like Anthony Davis at the 5. I think Joel Embiid, he has got hurt this year, but besides injuries and stuff, I think he should be on the All-NBA first team. The Sixers did underperform, and I believe that does play a big part in all this. But I do think, personally, that he is an All-NBA first team type of player. We've seen it night in and night out. What this man does with the basketball that makes him this good. On both ends of the floor, a great, honestly, two-way player. Kind of like a Klay Thompson, of course, minus shooting. I think that at his position, what he does at that center spot is great. I mean, I think Karl-Anthony Towns, great offensive player, but not the greatest defender in the world. Same with Jokic. He's a decent defender, too. He's an okay defender. I think Embiid, because of his defense, puts him ahead of those 2 guys in this category. Because of defense, I think defense is such a big part of course, offense is a huge part of today's league, but I honestly view defense as a huge part as well. I think to have good offense, you need good defense and vice versa. So that's kind of why I have Joel Embiid at the spot that he is in. I think that his situation is fine in Philadelphia because I think that when that team plays at their full potential, they could make it out of the East. Maybe not behind Milwaukee. Maybe not with Milwaukee, but they're the second best team, third best team in the East behind Milwaukee and Toronto. I think it's Joel and Ben Simmons play a huge part, but I think it's Joel, man. I think Joel Embiid plays such a big part in the role that he's in. I mean, again, we've seen it night in and night out, what this man can do with the basketball. So, yeah, I definitely am going to have to put Joel Embiid at the number 10 spot. There were some players that I don't have on this list, but, that were close. Personally, I was not considering putting Kyrie Irving top 10 or 15. I think he's super overrated. I don't think he's a top 4 point guard in the league. Personally, I would honestly rank, not counting Luka Doncic. I'm just gonna say Luka's a anything guard, combo guard. I think I would probably rank Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Stephen Curry, Kemba Walker, maybe even, and possibly, guys, healthy John Wall. Or I would definitely rank, honestly, Kemba ahead of, I think, Trae Young might be a better player overall. I think that Kyrie's attitude has got him in the point where he's not a top player in the league. I think that definitely plays a big part. I think if you go out there and perform, not with a huge mouth, kind of like Kyrie Irving has, then I think that, then that sets you up for success too. And Kyrie Irving kind of let the media almost not get in his head, but I think that he thought about the media too much to the point where he would kind of get smart with the way he talks, like a smart aleck. The whole Ask Me July 1st thing, I think his attitudes put him in this position that he can't really get out of unless we see, of course, him, which I've heard, be a great teammate, but I've also heard him not be the best teammate in Brooklyn. But I think that, the Nets players are honestly, not too worried about that. I think he's a good teammate in Brooklyn rather than Boston. Rather than that, rather than Boston. I think he really likes Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he told him, before the season ended, I want to play for the Nets. So I think that he's happy in that situation because he didn't choose the Celtics. He hand chose the Nets, even though I thought he liked Boston. But that's not really the point here. Whatever it is, I think that he's, chose the, choosing the Nets kind of sets him up to be a better player in that environment. It's the first choice he's had. I mean, drafted by the Cavs, traded to the Celtics. The first choice he had is to really play for the Nets, and I think that to sign there, that's the team he wanted to play for. So I think that's why he has a better attitude in Brooklyn. But still, I think his attitude's got him in a bad place. So, yeah. But, that's going to be episode 2 of the Ball Up podcast. If you guys want to see, or of course there'll be an episode 3, but what do you guys want to see for episode 3? I was thinking maybe the top players of the 1920 season, maybe not when healthy, which is basically the 1920 season. Maybe I'll rank the top 10 point guards, all 5 positions there. If you guys want to see me talk about a team like the Celtics, kind of. Another one I've kind of wanted to talk about is the Golden State Warriors. I think I have a great idea what to talk about for that team. So, that's just kind of, I think will be the next episode, discussing the current state of teams. Maybe the off-season, whenever that happens, whenever it's really considered the off-season. Of course, this whole virus thing, this really coronavirus is spreading pretty bad. Of course, the NBA season suspended. But anyway, once the off-season gets to that, I'll definitely talk about that. Off-season moves, whatever it might be. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like on the video. Please make sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought and what you guys would like to see for the, some future podcast episodes. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.